Tropical Storm Danny has made landfall near Hilton Head, South Carolina. Good evening, I'm Mike Nasa with the latest on the tropics. Yesterday I told you we could have a little tropical storm coming into the South Carolina, Georgia area, and indeed we do. You can see now most of the activity here on the infrared satellite over the state of Georgia, but the actual landfall took place very near Hilton Head, South Carolina at about 8, 9 o'clock tonight as a low-end tropical storm about 40 miles per hour. Now it's a tropical depression, expected to continue to move inland and weaken, and you can see the whole pattern here in front of it. This is going to end up getting shunted towards the north and eventually the northeast, and hopefully we don't have to deal with it too much longer. Here's the latest as of 11 p.m. Eastern Time from the Hurricane Center. Danny was at 32.6 north, 81.5 west, winds down to 35, now a depression. It's moving west-northwest at 15, and that's good news for two reasons. Number one, we'll get it out of here, and it won't prolong any nasty conditions wherever they may be occurring. And number two, if it keeps up that speed, hopefully it won't rain too heavy. Remember, when it comes to rainfall, it's not the strength of the system, it's how fast it's moving and how much moisture. Thankfully, I'll show you the radar in a minute. It doesn't seem to have too much heavy rain, but it was a pretty good gusty blow towards the South Carolina coast for anybody who might have been on vacation or something like that. Here's the wind field. You can see right there the tropical storm winds went just inland along the South Carolina coast. I don't think they made it to Georgia, right near the border, and now it's a depression, so we're not going to have any more of those winds. And you can see that track. I'm concerned about the track, because you don't normally have a west-northwest movement right into the southeast coast like that. We might have it occasionally into Florida, we might have it north into the Carolinas, but that gives me bad vibes for if there's some kind of setup later in the year with high pressure to take a hurricane, which would be way stronger than what we saw with Danny, and move it in a direction like that. I don't like the looks of that track. I've always been told throughout the years by hurricane forecasters that early tracks could be an indication of tracks when we get into the serious part of hurricane season. So if we have a lot of storms moving this way, that might be a good sign that later on in the year they'll move out. But if we have them moving this way, that could be a problem. Maybe it's nothing. Who knows? Here's the key messages for Danny. Heavy rainfall is possible from coastal South Carolina and Georgia, inland across the Piedmont of Georgia into northeast Alabama. Isolated flooding possible across urban areas of the southern South Carolina and Georgia coastline. That's really the only concern. It's not going to be the wind at all. You can see the track here. It should curl and end up moving northeast over the Appalachians, whatever's left of it by then, which might not be much. Here's a pretty cool radar image from the Ensemble radar site. You can see the landfall took place there, and then it moved on in, and now you can still see the center, the squiggle there. It's still definitely spinning, but other than these strong thunderstorms that flared up going into Georgia, there's not a whole lot left as far as the circulation, and you can see it looks kind of skeletonized there, so that's a good sign that we won't have a ton of heavy rain. And also you can note there's a spin there, but there also seems to be a spin in Georgia. Watch, you can see a spin on the left there, so definitely wasn't an organized tropical storm, but definitely a tropical storm, and the fourth named storm of the year, and we're not even to July yet. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully we don't get back to the Greek, well, we won't be doing those anymore, but you know what I mean. Let's stick with one name list, please. Here's the other invest in the Atlantic. This is Invest 95L. We've been watching off Africa. It's still pretty early in the year to have anything there, but I remember back in 2003, Tropical Storm Claudette, Hurricane Claudette, not the same Claudette from this year, but we had a Hurricane Claudette that hit Port O'Connor, Texas, pretty hard. High-end Category 1 in July. That started from a wave way out here, and it took a long time and a long trek, but it made it. So I'm always weary of waves out here, seeing if they're going to be developing down the road. This one, it wants to take into the Greater Antilles, so it's a mid-range likelihood of development, but the models show a possible turn. So we'll wait and see for that. If that happens, I'm skeptical that it'll gain that much latitude unless it really intensifies. Otherwise, I think it'll stay pretty far south, but who knows? We'll wait and see. Here are the ensemble tracks over the next week or so from weathernerds.org, and you can see they keep the system generally weak, and these ensembles seem to be more in what I was saying, more down here and up, but again, not as strong as they were showing a few days ago. And other than that, I'm not seeing any other low pressure centers through the next 100, 240 hours. So 4th of July weekend along the coast looks pretty good from hurricane activity. It looks like the earliest we'd get any impacts would be, say, July 6th or 7th from this wave, if it does anything down the road, and we would have to see what it would do. There's the satellite of the Atlantic, and you can see our Danny over Georgia right there, and there's our Invest flaring up. Still a pretty good flare up, but you could definitely see it's not a huge favorable area. There's some wind shear there, and it'll have to break through a lot of barriers to become something down the road, if it does at all. You can see here off the coast of Mexico, yesterday we had a powerful hurricane. Danny was up to 90 miles an hour. It's pretty naked there. There's not much discernible on that infrared satellite. Here's the latest on Enrique. Sorry, Danny and Enrique. Enrique is now a tropical storm, 60 miles per hour, and it's moving northwest at 6, way down from the 90-mile-an-hour hurricane it was yesterday. The tropical storm force winds offshore expected to make landfall on the Baja as a tropical storm and then weaken to a depression by Wednesday night and Thursday. When you look at the satellite imagery there of Enrique, you can see very, very ill-defined. It looks a heck of a lot weaker than 60 miles per hour, and thankfully it's away from the coast. Still some good flare-ups here that could cause some life-threatening flash flooding where there are prolonged heavy rains. We'll see if this skinny naked swirl makes it to the Baja as a tropical storm. Nevertheless, that's it for Enrique. So that's it for the tropics. Danny, you can see Danny there over the southeast U.S., a little early season storm, a reminder that we're in hurricane season 2021, and we'll see what happens from here. The next name on the list is Elsa, and we'll see when we get Elsa and if that wave in the Atlantic becomes Elsa over the coming days. I'm Mike Nasa with the latest on the tropics. I'll see you next time. Be sure to subscribe to the new Mike's Tropical Video Update page on YouTube. You'll find it in the link, and I'll continue to post these on the original page before we transition that to an archival page. So that'll do it. I'll talk to you guys next time.